This is my review of the season finale of Little People, Big World, Season 25, Episode 10. The episode is called Time to Move On. And I'm officially worried that this is the end, guys. This could be the last episode of Little People, Big World ever. And in this episode, we definitely see Tori and Zach's final scene. Stay tuned until the very end for Matt Roloff's statement about whether or not Little People Big World is coming back. And let's get into it. This episode starts with the debacle of the DAAA charity event, and we leave off where the event has started. Amy, as we know, was super late, and now Chris is nowhere to be found. People are showing up, and he's the one with the ice buckets and games. So where the heck is Chris? People want to know, and why didn't he come with Amy? Chris finally shows up, and him being late takes a little bit of heat off Amy for being so late as the main party planner, but the event is still going pretty well, and we see Karen bonding with Amy's best friend, I believe Deb, who is now saying she's Karen's BFF. Hold the phone. Someone's breaking girl code here. First she was saying Amy procrastinates on camera, and now she's making friends with Karen. Chris does the auction, and the special item at the auction was a t-shirt signed by all the Roloffs. Someone paid over $1,000 for that t-shirt. I mean, it's a rare piece, I must say. Amy was happy that at least Zach signed the shirt. I mean, it's really the least he could do. If he refused to sign the shirt, I would have been so mad at him for that. Like, that's crazy. Not going and not signing the shirt. In the end, they called the event a roaring success, and all was well in the world. Zach and Tori, meanwhile, are trying to keep some type of storyline going and went to the zoo with their kids who are loving it. They got to feed the giraffe there, and Jackson did a great job. Lila, not so much. She was petrified of the giraffe. They tried to put her in front of the giraffe, did not go well. Zach says that in public, they make sure their kids are well behaved because they stand out. And then they talk about how they just came from the Little People of America conference where I guess they did not film, and how Jackson and Lila were social butterflies there. Zach says, Amy was there with Chris, but they didn't see each other that much because they each have their own friends there, which is kind of weird. It's a weird thing to say. Did they not even say hi or something? Tori says near the end of the episode that she just wants to get away from his family. And that's the vibe, honestly. Amy and Chris are having a staycation now at the beach, and they're celebrating 7 years of knowing each other, and they're eating, I think, crab cakes, and they start to talk about the kids and how the kids and their dad, Amy doesn't think they'll ever have that real father relationship with Matt ever again. Chris thinks it's really sad, and her MO is clear. Amy is staying out of the drama. She says it's for them to figure out. She says, I'm here if I can help, but it's up to them. Chris then brings up the fact that the grandma room isn't getting used all that much and says, does that mean we can move farther away to Idaho? Chris, sit down. What Idaho? Amy's not going to Idaho. Apparently, Chris is from central Idaho, and I'm shocked that Amy says it's worth to take a look. Are the grandkids really not spending any time with them at all? I was under the impression that a lot of them did go over. Karen and Matt are also on a staycation in Hood River at a spa. Matt talks about how he wants to build a playground near his new house, but elephant in the room is that his LP grandchildren, Zach's kids, are not coming over anymore, so is he still going to make it accessible? And he says he still wants to make a playground that is accessible for Jackson, Lila, and Josiah. And he says that 5 of his grandkids, they see a lot, but Zach and Tori's kids, they do not. So Matt and Karen think about when they want to get married. They're thinking May. We know now they did not get married in May. Matt wants to do some helicopter dropping them off somewhere. And Karen just is adamant she doesn't want to get married at the farm, the same place Amy got married. Like, that's kind of weird. So, yeah, but we know, I don't think they're married yet. And we're back in Battleground now, and Zach is doing what gives me anxiety the most, putting the kids in the bucket of the tractor. They're picking up blueberries on their property and talk about how moving there was not to spite anyone, but they found their independence. Then Lila kind of falls in poop at one point. I don't know. I feel like they moved when emotions were still high from the sale of the farm falling through. It did seem very related, and it did seem like a bit spiteful. That's in my opinion. And Matt, Karen, Amy, and Chris are now gathering to talk about family drama. Basically, this is the big final scene for that group. They toast to the fundraiser they did together, and they say they raised more than 20 grand for DAAA, which is amazing. Karen asks, "Where do you see yourself in 5 years?" And Amy actually says that she would move back to Michigan, but that her kids are here so that she won't. And Chris says the grandkids are not using the grandma room. Stirring the pot as always. Like, how many times does he have to say the kids aren't using the grandma room? Like, honestly. And then Amy says something that makes me think, was this the final scene? She says, "We're still little people, and it's a big world out there." And there's a shot of the gates of Roloff Farms closing. I've never seen the gates, to be honest. It's very last episode ever vibes. I'm freaking out. Is this the end? You know, when they pan out of the property? To me, this is the saddest full circle moment ever, because Matt dreamed of creating an amazing property for his family to grow up on, something that he didn't really have. He was in hospitals a lot growing up. He made it a reality, and now there's so much family drama they won't come over. And he barely talks to Zach. So if you think about it, it's kind of heartbreaking. Zach does say in the episode that there's still hope for him and his dad to mend things in the future, so that's good. But I don't know, it just seems to me like Tori particularly is just over it. He says that there's no interest from the kids to go to the farm, which is super hard to believe because Jackson clearly used to love it. He says that they have their own space over here and that there's no grudge or avoiding going to the farm. Make that make sense. Clearly, he's avoiding the farm. And there's a scene where they ride off on the tractor. No big goodbye, no big, sayonara scene. It's just very anticlimactic. I've said it and I'll say it again. They need to bring more kids in to save the show. It is a relationship show. Perhaps Jeremy and his family? I don't know. They're probably not willing, but it's the only way that that's going to happen. Is this the end of Little People Big World? Let me know your thoughts in the comment. And now, can we talk about the fact that after that episode aired, Matt posted this post saying that he was going to answer these important questions on his Facebook page. And so obviously I went to his Facebook page, and basically question number one, and now apparently he's not under NDA, he can open up. So question number one was last Tuesday's episode of the series or season finale. He said, "It's true that several family members have announced publicly that they're no longer interested in filming Little People Big World. I think Amy, myself, and producers have known this for quite some time. We completed our contract obligations and wrapped filming last September 2024. Season 25 was a very fun and fulfilling filming cycle, and Karen and I particularly enjoyed working together with Chris and Amy in so many productive ways. Of course, we missed filming with more other family members and were obviously disappointed not to do more things together. Here's my opinion on why TLC didn't announce, at least not yet, this was the series finale versus season finale. Clip look back special show in the works? Maybe." He also goes on about how in one season he worked like crazy to get Tori to be able to join them on a trip to Costa Rica. He says she and Zach were newly dating, and this trip was a catalyst to help solidify their relationship. I feel the shade. I just feel like when Tori reads this, she's going to be like, ugh. So he's kind of trying to take the credit for solidifying their relationship in this sentence, I feel. And he also says, remember, our show is a relationship-based program. As more and more family members drift away from the show, it becomes more difficult to produce the same content. As much as many of you hate, and we see the comments, about the rifts and strife between the family members, the better the ratings do. Nobody, they think they would, but they don't, want to watch everything is always happy-go-lucky and perfect. Viewers want relationship drama and then resolutions. The less relationship interactions are filmed together on camera, the harder it is to produce the show. Chris and Karen coming on board help replace some family members. It's my opinion that you just never know what might happen in the future. Okay, yeah, Chris and Karen did come on board, but they don't replace the kids. Like, in what he's saying here, no. He says, I know I can't predict the future. It's my guess that the network can't either. Do I think that TLC did a nice job on the last Tuesday season finale episode, hedging their bets and putting a nice button on the show, and where the family members that still participate stands? So if Little People Big World never does come back, I think consensus is they wrapped up the Roloff Crazy Train saga pretty good. That's why many of you felt it was a series finale. So on this matter of whether last Tuesday was the last Little People Big World show forever, nobody really knows at this point. I feel very content and satisfied with the run of the show and the journey we shared with you all. So there you have it. I don't know. I kind of feel like it's done, but you can never say never with TLC. They might come back. And yes, I think they deserve a special. I think they're one of the longest running reality shows of all time. Didn't they win that Guinness World Record? All right, guys, let me know your thoughts. Do you want it to be over? Chime in the comments. And thank you for listening to my Little People Big World Season 25 season finale recap and reaction. Bye, guys.